Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Look, if you are a focused learner trying to actually optimize your coding workflows, you are exactly in the right place today. On May 28th, 2026, Anthropic dropped Claude Opus 4.8. And, as with literally every major AI release, there is just a mountain of noise, a flood of marketing, and frankly, a whole lot of confusion about what has actually changed. So today, we are going to cut right through all that noise. We're diving straight into the source material to give you actionable, on-the-ground strategies for how to actually use this new model, especially inside Claude Code.
The benchmarks look amazing, but is it really a better model? Now that question perfectly captures the typical hype cycle we see, right? Every time a new model drops, we get hit with these charts showing how it absolutely destroys the older models. But our goal here isn't to just sit around celebrating benchmark scores. Our goal is to figure out what this means for your day-to-day coding workflows. Because, let's be real, a model that aces a standardized test doesn't always win in the messy, chaotic reality of your specific, hyper-customized codebase.
So here is our roadmap for today. 1. Beyond the benchmark hype. 2. Fixing the attitude problem. 3. Mastering the effort lever. 4. The power of why. And 5. Testing your specific workflow.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Beyond the Benchmark Hype, Evaluating the Reality of New Model Releases.
There is a really stark contrast between what we're sold and what we actually experience. The marketing benchmarks are screaming that Opus 4.8 is objectively smarter, that it beats Opus 4.7 and even GPT 5.5 in all the major categories. But out there in your actual workflow, you're dealing with hyper-specific tasks and really stubborn legacy code-based constraints. For instance, the source actually notes that for a highly specific agentic computer use case, a model like Codec combined with GPT 5.5 might honestly still outperform Opus 4.8. Even though Opus 4.8 supposedly wins on paper. So you've always got to take those benchmarks with a grain of salt and measure success strictly by your own reality.
Moving right along to Section 2, Fixing the Attitude Problem, Addressing the Frustrations of Opus 4.7.
Look, if you spent any real time using Opus 4.7, you definitely felt the pain of these community complaints. People constantly reported that it just felt lazy, like it would give up on tasks and goals way too early. It was also overly rigid. It suffered from the safety overreach where it would outright refuse totally benign coding tasks. Plus, there was a massive amount of feedback about the high token burn, making it surprisingly expensive to run. And finally, users noted it kind of had an attitude. It could come off as short, sassy, or it would stubbornly push back on your ideas instead of being the helpful brainstorming partner you actually wanted.
Well, Anthropic actually responded directly to those exact frustrations, and they explicitly highlighted honesty. They stated, "We train all our models to be honest to avoid making claims they can't support. So no more promising a task will take 20 minutes when it's actually going to take 4 hours. No more saying it pushed 50 files when it really only pushed 15. This new model is hyper-optimized for that honesty, for better self-correction, and for sustained autonomy on those long-running tasks that 4.7 used to just throw its hands up and give up on."
Okay, on to Section 3, and this is a big one. Mastering the effort lever. Balancing token efficiency with task complexity.
Inside Claude Code, you now have what's called an effort level. Think of this as a dynamic slider. Honestly, it's like a literal mechanical lever you can pull. You've got options ranging from low and medium, all the way up to high, max, and ultra code. This slider perfectly balances the model's raw intelligence and deep reasoning against output speed and your token cost. Now, by default, it sits right at high, but I'm telling you, leaving it there blindly for every single task you do is a massive mistake.
Let's break down how to actually use this strategically. If you're just doing simple lookups or basic tasks, dial that effort down to low or medium. It's the absolute fastest and it is the most token efficient. If you leave it on high for simple stuff, the model is going to over-reason and over-engineer a totally basic problem, wasting both your time and your money. On the flip side, if you have complex reasoning requirements, crank that thing up to max. And for massive dynamic workflows, use ultra code. Rule of thumb, if your model is acting lazy, you probably need to turn the effort up. If it's overthinking a basic script, dial it down.
So, the absolutely crucial takeaway here is this. Effort is the #1 lever to fix what we often mistakenly perceive as model problems. Manipulating this lever makes Opus 4.8 feel like an entirely different version. It seriously feels like an Opus 4.9 because it gives you direct, granular control over your token burn and the model's cognitive load. Stop letting the default settings dictate your workflow.
All right, Section 4, The Power of Why, Techniques for Providing Context and Coding Instructions.
Think about the difference between a traditional negative command, like just telling the model, don't use em dashes in the text, versus a contextual command, like I want this to match my writing style, which never uses em dashes. The source material points out something really fascinating. 4.8 behaves almost like a curious entity. When you just bark, don't do this at it, it actually struggles. But when you give it the why, that underlying context behind the instruction, it completely satisfies that curiosity. And that drastically improves its ability to actually follow your instructions without getting stubborn about it.
So based on the official API documentation, here are your absolute core prompting best practices for 4.8. First, frame your commands positively. Tell it what to do rather than what not to do. Second, provide that extensive background context we were just talking about. Give it the why. Third, allow it to reason before calling tools. Let it figure out its approach and the questions it needs to ask before it goes off and spawns a subagent. And finally, let it calibrate its own verbosity. The model is brilliantly designed now to give you shorter answers for simple lookups and longer, detailed responses for open-ended analysis based purely on the task's complexity.
And finally, Section 5, testing your specific workflow, evaluating Opus v4 against legacy models.
We've reached the million-dollar question. Is Opus 4.8 actually better for you? Not for some benchmark tester in a lab, not for the marketing team, but for you and your specific code base. Someone else's use case is not your use case. You absolutely cannot just blindly port your old 4.7 workflows over, hit go, and expect perfection. You have to get in there and evaluate it in the trenches.
As you start testing this, here are the exact variables you need to be monitoring. First up, check the vibe upgrade. Is it actually warmer? Is it acting like a collaborative partner instead of giving you that stubborn 4.7 attitude? Second, look at self-correction frequency. Are you spending less of your time repeating the exact same instructions over and over? And third, token efficiency. When you get near the end of your session limits, does it feel like you've actually accomplished more with far less token burn?
And hey, to measure that last point, please don't just guess at your token efficiency. You can use free open-source GitHub repo dashboards that are designed specifically to track your Claude code usage. By pulling your historical data into a token tracker, you can visualize exactly where your tokens are going. You can literally prove mathematically whether 4.8 is saving you resources compared to those legacy models.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought for you to chew on. As you open up your terminal today to try out Opus 4.8, ask yourself, are you blindly trusting the default settings, or are you actually steering the model? Go grab that effort lever, give the model the why behind your commands, and take real control of your workflow. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep experimenting out there, and I will see you next time.